Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving straight into the absolute pressure cooker that was the 2022 World Cup group stage clash between Portugal and Ghana. No long build-ups today, you guys already know the stakes, so let's just jump right into the action.
Okay, so right from the kickoff, we were looking at a classic David versus Goliath scenario. You've got Portugal, 2010 quarterfinalists, absolutely stacked with undeniable talent, and then you have Ghana. They were actually the lowest ranked team at this entire World Cup, right? Stepping back onto the world's biggest stage after completely missing out on Russia in 2018. This stark disparity on paper, well, it immediately created this heavy, palpable tension on the pitch.
But we got to talk about the elephant in the room. Adding to all that immense pre-match pressure was the absolute media circus surrounding Cristiano Ronaldo's dramatic exit from Manchester United. I mean, this saga literally dominated worldwide headlines just 2 days prior to the match. Now, Portugal was adamant that this off-pitch noise hadn't affected their preparations. But come on, it absolutely tested the team's singular focus, heading into a highly anticipated tournament opener.
The escalation arc, from a goalless gridlock to a frantic finish. Let's get into it.
So we're going to trace how this match evolved from a super rigid tactical first half into just pure unadulterated second half chaos. Because, man, that first half was incredibly tight. Ghana's defense held incredibly firm against Portugal's early physical attacks. We saw a really great early chance for Ronaldo, expertly denied by Ghana's keeper, Lawrence Atiziki, who read the danger perfectly and spread himself well. We even had a Ronaldo goal completely disallowed for what was basically a 50-50 foul on a tough physical tussle. So both teams head into the locker rooms completely deadlocked.
Making history. Breaking the deadlock.
Right, so the deadlock finally breaks, and it all kicks off with this clever little flick from João Félix. That leads to a wild scramble in the penalty area, and boom, contact between the Ghanaian defender and Ronaldo's right foot. Was it a foul? Well, the source analysis notes it was a true 50-50 challenge. But here's the kicker. The American referee didn't hesitate for a single second. He pointed straight to the spot, setting the stage for a seriously monumental milestone.
And that milestone comes down to one massive number: 5. With a perfectly composed strike driven low past the keeper, giving him absolutely zero chance to save it, by the way, Cristiano Ronaldo achieved something no male player had ever done before in the history of the sport.
Cristiano Ronaldo becomes the first player ever to score at 5 different World Cups, literally the first ever. What's truly fascinating here, if you look closely at the match footage, is how his team backed him. You don't see a bunch of Portuguese players crowding the edge of the box looking for a rebound. No, they're all standing 3 or 4 yards back. They just knew. They knew he was going to deliver that big moment, that big goal, and that trademark celebration on the world's biggest stage.
Ghana strikes back. Africa's first goal of the tournament.
You know the story was far from over because Ghana wasn't behind for long. They answered back brilliantly. How they engineered this equalizer is just beautiful. It starts with Mohamed Kudus, arguably Ghana's brightest player on the day. He brilliantly exploits the defender's blind shoulder. The guy simply cannot see him. Kudus attacks that space, whips a fast-paced ball across the box, and André Ayew arrives centrally at the exact right millisecond for a perfectly calm side-foot finish. It is just textbook attacking geometry.
And hey, another milestone alert. This equalizer marked André Ayew's 24th international goal on his 110th appearance for his country. A massive moment for Ayew personally, an absolute injection of hope for the Ghanaian fans going wildly crazy in the stands, and honestly, super importantly, it gave the African continent its very first goal of the entire tournament.
Portugal's quick-fire double, the crucial 5 minutes.
You know that old football cliché, right? The 5 minutes immediately following a goal are the most crucial? Well, Portugal capitalized on that immediately. Let's break down João Félix's goal here. The timing and the exceptional weight of that pass from Bruno Fernandes in the midfield, it was flawless. It allowed Félix to slip perfectly off the defender's shoulder. With the center back playing him onside, Félix restores the lead with this incredibly composed, fantastic little dink right over the goalkeeper. Just absolute clinical precision when the pressure was at its absolute highest. And honestly, before Ghana could even process that they were behind again, Portugal struck a third time. Enter the impact sub, Rafael Leão. The guy had only just stepped onto the pitch. Following another brilliantly timed release pass, Leão completely opens his hips up and just bends this gorgeous shot right around the keeper to make it 3-1. In the literal blink of an eye, an impact substitute essentially pushed the game seemingly out of reach for Ghana.
Just think about this shift. We went from being completely deadlocked at a really tense 0-0 at halftime to Ronaldo's historic penalty, followed almost right away by Ayew's equalizer. And then, bam, Within the next crucial 5 minutes, Félix and Leão score back-to-back. It's an absolute explosion of goals after a completely scoreless, rigid first half. And the wild part? The scoring wasn't even done yet.
A frantic final whistle. Chaos until the very end.
Because even down 3-1, Ghana utterly refused to quit. Osman Bukari capitalized on some pretty disappointing defending from Pereira to cut the deficit to 3-2. But the absolute peak of the suspense, oh man, it was this. Was Portuguese goalkeeper Diego Costa even aware that the Ghanaian striker Inaki Williams was lurking right behind him? Literally in the dying final seconds, Williams sneaks up on the completely oblivious keeper, steals the ball, but slips at the critical moment. He nearly pulled off the most sensational, heart-stopping draw.
Talk about an extraordinary ending narrowly averted by Portugal. When you consider the wide spread of firepower across both teams, Ronaldo, Félix, and Leão for Portugal, Ayew and Bukari for Ghana, you can totally see why those final moments were so intensely stressful. The Portuguese substitutes were literally spilling out of their technical area, just desperately willing the referee to blow the whistle. But they held on, sealing a 3-2 victory in a truly history-making evening of football.
So, what's the big takeaway from this explainer? It's that rankings do not dictate the drama on the pitch. A team that missed the last tournament pushed a perennial powerhouse to the absolute brink. So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. With 5 goals exploding onto the score sheet in a single breathless half of football, does a match like this fundamentally redefine what we expect from underdog teams on the world stage? And how are heavy favorites going to adapt to this relentless level of second-half intensity in future tournaments? Definitely something to think about next time you look at a group stage bracket.